Peace and love, brothers and sisters. Peace and love. Y'all know who it be. It's always me. It's the Aquamarine Amicus Warrior. It is the Heyo Ka. And I'm here to drop that knowledge and speak my peace for all my brothers and sisters across the land and sea, okay? My message is simple today. Corruption and flies I do despise. The corruption of the government has to end. They are the flies in our society, okay? And they step their foot across every nation in the world's neck and tell us that it's okay. Now, on the back of every piece of money I ever seen in my life, it also says, "In God we trust." I find that very odd, seeing as how the government doesn't obey the will of God at all. Don't y'all find that odd? You know, God says in his 10 Commandments, "Thou shalt not steal." But we've stolen resources from every landmass on this planet that's not our own. Thou shalt not kill. We killed so many innocent people. For what reason whatsoever? Because they don't look like us? They don't speak the same language? I don't understand it. We fought in needless and pointless wars for God? Oh, let me correct that for you. I'm not talking about the big man upstairs, okay? I'm talking about for what they call God, okay? They send our nieces, our nephews, our grandmas, our grandpas overseas, our sons, our daughters, to fight in needless, pointless, and stupid fucking wars, okay? And they say it's for God. But God, the creator of the heavens, doesn't need gold, oil, and drugs when he created the heavens and the earth. So what are we really going to war for? I'll tell you what we're really going to war for. To keep the rest of the nations fearful and pacified. Because if they're fearful and pacified, then guess what? They won't realize that we don't need the flies, which are the corrupt powers that be who run our everyday societies, telling us what the fuck we need to do. Okay? You know, in some countries and some states, they don't even have police. I mean, they do, but they don't have to carry weapons. Like in our countries, they don't carry weapons whatsoever. Friends have sent me videos on this and everything. And I've looked at it and I'm like, how do they know they'll be safe? Because they trust one another in their country, okay? What's wrong with trusting and loving one another in our country? Why is it this claims to be the land of prosperity, but anybody who doesn't have the right pigmentation in their skin color is considered either a minority, a threat, or a terrorist? So basically, you only want a minority, threat, or terrorist in this country if they're building something for you. Otherwise, you want them behind a wall that you're going to make Mexico pay for it all. Doesn't that sound familiar? Oh, right. Because it was by that racist bigot, who we all know his name, who thought it was okay to disrespect every race out there that was not his color. Now, like I said, I'm not a racist person. I respect all races. I love all religions. I have nothing against people who have their own religion. If you have no religion, I don't give a shit. My point is simple. I speak my peace to all my brothers and sisters across the land and sea. But I have a small problem when in every country, in every background, the rich and powerful step their foot on our necks. And we are supposed to sit up here and take it because we have not and they have. There was this TV show I was watching a while back called Utopia Falls. It was the most interesting show. This grandma type lady took people who didn't want to fight, who didn't want to kill, who didn't want to steal, who didn't want to destroy, into the mountains. And they built a most serene society. But then we have that one or two people who don't like there's something that's peaceful and tranquil and joyous. So they got to destroy the peace there is. Sound familiar? All right. It's the corrupt powers that be. Or as you've already known them as, the governor, the police, policia, military, or navy, or whatever you want to call them. Okay? Now, here's my question. If the big man upstairs created all of this for all his children, no matter what race, what color, what religion, what background they are, because if you really think about it, we're all speaking the same language, brothers and sisters, okay? Language is nothing but frequency, okay? If you listen with your ears and with your heart, we are all speaking the same language. There was this movie called Pocahontas, and in this movie, Grandmother Willow said, listen with your heart, and you will understand. Why is it so hard for us to listen with our heart? Because we don't look, we don't feel, and we don't listen with our heart. We look with our eyes and we listen with our ears. We assume everybody who doesn't look like us or speak like us or have the same ideals as us is the enemy. And who put that bullshit ass propaganda in your head? Besides your parents, but mostly the corrupt powers that be, who have told you this since they have been in power. Okay? They tell you that you got to protect your nation, which is under God. But guess what? The big man upstairs says, thou shalt not kill. We've killed thousands upon thousands of other nations of people who are not so different from us. We've taken, stolen. When the big man says, thou shalt not steal, from thousands of other nations on this planet. Do y'all realize we are the only species on this planet that has to pay to live on the very planet that was given to us by the Creator? Who decided that? There was this old Indian proverb I posted a while back. It says, no one owns the land. No one owns the sea. No one owns the air. No one owns the food. Only by the hand of greed does this require a fee. You know, them Indians were wise beyond their years. Maybe that's the reason why they lived to be such ancient elders. It's because they saw the world as a unified species. And they lived on this planet as a unified people. Now, yeah, they might have had their own tussles every now, here and then, whatever. But at the end of the day, they still lived as a unified people. And they had a simple logic. You can't own water. You can't own the earth. You can't own the air. You can't own fire. You can't own none of this shit. Because guess what? You can claim it all you want. At the end of the day, when you go on to be with the Creator, it's not yours. It's the Creator's. He created it. So basically, you're saying you're mightier and better than the Creator. That's why I find it so hard to actually comprehend when they say one nation under God. How can we be a nation under God when we're defying God's will? He says, thou shalt not kill. We kill thousands of people. He says, thou shalt not steal. We've taken from thousands of people. Thou shalt not covet. We coveted practically every damn thing on this planet. Why is it that we, as a so-called intelligent species on this planet, can't sit down and negotiate without it always coming to war? Why is that? Hmm? There was a song, I forget who it's by, but the song goes, War. Who? Yeah. What it isn't good for absolutely nothing. And I'm thinking about that song right now, and it has me wondering, what is war good for? To pile up the endless gravestones of dead bodies? The endless man, woman, and child that will never get to see their mother, father, great grandchildren, great great grandchildren, and mother, father, sister, brother again? Or a father who never get to see his children again, or a mother who never get to see her children again? For a needless war that nobody wanted and nobody needed, except the flies who govern our daily society. And by flies, I mean the corrupt powers that be. So my message today is corruption and flies I do despise. So stop being nasty. Okay? We have let the corrupt powers that be all across the land and sea tell us how to live our lives. We have let the corrupt powers that be all across the land and sea tell us to obey their rules. It kind of seems like this whole system is based on fear. Think about it. Government, obey or jail. Religion, obey or hell. School, obey or fail. This whole society, whole system is based on fear. The Indians were not based on fear. The Egyptians, yes, they did enslave, but I'm looking at the brighter side. They built marvels that we can still admire to this very day. Now, if we, the people, or should I say, the terrorists, the minorities, the threats to their so-called peace are such a threat, then why is it you need the threats, the minorities, the terrorists, who are normally Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, blacks, Muslims, Arabics, Russians, Koreans, Chinese, Japanese? It's funny. We're always the threats when we cross across the land and sea. But when you do it, when the corrupt powers that be come over into y'all neck of the woods and take all y'all shit, they claim it's for God. Right? No. Think about this for a second. The main thing they keep taking from other land mass is G-O-D. Gold, oil, and drugs. It's funny how all these terrorists and all these countries all these countries we keep invading are oil rich and have gas. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch on to that. We keep going to war with countries that are, listen, oil rich and have gas. So isn't that funny? Instead of sitting down like King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table and discussing this like civilized human beings, no, we pick up a gun, a knife, a sword, a fucking bazooka, a fucking tank, a fucking 747, a fucking missile, and blast it straight into your home. So you're sitting up there enjoying a nice family meal with your loved ones, and look, you're dead in 2 seconds before you eat your salad. Because a big ass fucking missile just came from the United States or Russia or Korea the main countries that actually have power. Or Germany for that matter. And guess what? We bomb the fuck out of you, so you bomb the fuck out of us. They want to retaliate with more bombing. They want to retaliate with another needless and pointless war. All because he said this, she said that, he did that, blah, blah, blah. Are we all a bunch of fucking kids? I mean, really. I'm asking that question. Are we all a bunch of fucking kids? Because that's what we're acting like. Oh, he did, but she did, but they did. Really? How is this the land of the free and the home of the brave when nobody's happy? Who's happy to be in their own neck of the woods? Name me one person who's happy to be in their own homeland right now when they have a little bit of resources, a little bit of food to eat, a little bit of clothes on their back. And they have to wake up every day and wonder, will this be the day a missile comes into my home because the corrupt powers that be to control my society or my nation tell me I have to suit up and fight for stupidity. Or for something I really don't want to fight in or believe in. But they say it's to keep my nation safe. They say it's to keep our home safe. Really? Who is this war helping? Does it help the innocent children that become orphans? No. Does it help the moms that don't get to see their husbands anymore? Or their sons or their daughters? No. Does it help the fathers who don't get to see their sons or daughters? No. Who does the war help? You know, Tom McDonald said this a while back. He said, they want us in a race war that the government has paid for. Because who lives matter more? To the government, to the governor, to the dictator, to the police or policier. Guess what? Your life is nothing but a piece of paper in their fucking hands. Corruption and flies I do despise. So we got to stop being nasty, okay? We have been laying in the filth of the flies who ruin our daily lives, okay? And when I say the flies, I mean the flies that force you to grab a gun, a knife, or a sword and think it's okay to shoot, kill, and destroy. When the big man upstairs says, no, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet. Or they tell you that you gotta fight this other country because they don't look like you, they don't speak like you, they don't speak the same language. It takes us 3 months to a year. And we done understood just about, I'm gonna say, 3 languages on this planet already. So what the fuck are we still fighting for? What the fuck are we still going to war for? What in the name of the Creator are we still discriminating for? I'll tell you what we're doing that for. Because the corrupt powers that be, the flies who shit on our peace of mind, our happiness, our society, tell us that it's the right thing to do. They tell us that if we don't abide by their rules, that we're not a true patriot of our nations, that we're not a true soldier of our countries, that we're not a true warrior, that we're not living up to our grandparents and great-grandparents who fought and died for us. I'm pretty sure if our great-grandparents and great-grandmothers were here today, or spirits today, they would tell you point blank. They didn't want to fight either. They wanted a peaceful solution. But the corrupt powers that be, the flies who run our society, tell us different lies. You ever notice how the governors or the presidents or the kings or queens or dictators or whatever they're calling your neck of the woods, never really getting into a fight. You know, Ralph Smart once said something. Soldier stands for so dire. So dire. Because you're the so dire on the battlefield fighting for something you don't even believe in. And you've been propped up and told to believe in it. You've been brainwashed to believe that your enemy, because they don't speak the same language, don't look like you, don't talk like you, don't think like you, is your enemy. And really, if we sat down at a table, a round table, and discussed it like the natural, intelligent human beings we keep claiming to be, then maybe this planet wouldn't be so in a fucked up situation it is now, with a polluted ocean and a polluted atmosphere, and polluted, burnt down trees, and barely able to see beautiful creatures and animals because they're halfway or nearly extinct already because of poachers and overdevelopment. I weep for the future of the human race. If we don't evolve beyond this foolish concept that who one looks like or who has more, our utopia, like the TV show, will literally fall. And there will be nothing to rebuild it. Nothing or no one to rebuild it. We think we're safe because we have the army. We think we're safe because we have the government. We think we're safe because we have weapons of mass destruction. But rivers of blood will never bring peace. It will bring obedience for a time. But if you gotta pacify people with rivers of blood and weapons of mass destruction, then perhaps you're not the leader that everyone needs. Corruption and flies, I do despise. Stop letting them ruin your life. I've spoken my piece. Peace, brothers and sisters, from the Heyoka.